Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to give an introduction to Lab 10 where we practice using Matplotlib. And we're also going to use NumPy in this lab as well. So the idea with this lab is we have some data that actually comes from the registrar's office at MSU. This data is saved in a file, which we're going to need to save on our computers in the same directory as our Python source code. So I will just download that. And let's actually take a look at this in just a basic text editor. So this data, we can see from the description, the first line contains how many lines of data follow, or with our text edit. So here this says there are 7 lines, and this is going to be useful to you when you're building up a NumPy array, because remember NumPy arrays have fixed width, or fixed length. So the first line says that there's 7 more lines, and then each line after that gives a name of a college at MSU. So this is the College of Agriculture, this is the College of Arts, and the 2020 spring enrollment in that college. So for example, this is saying that the College of Agriculture had 1,152 people in its various majors in spring 2020. So in this lab, you're going to be visualizing this data. So I'm going to save our code that we get to start with. And then I'm going to open it up with idle. And we start with some things, but not a ton. I would say the important thing to note here is our main is taking in a file name, which is then going to be passed into this read file function. And we can see here that read file is supposed to return to us 2 values. And if you watched the videos for Matplotlib, you have seen this before, but just in case you didn't watch those, basically what's going on here is Python is cleverly unwrapping whatever is returned from read file as a list or a tuple into these 2 variables. So if I do something like return the tuple that's just going to be the integer 1 and then another integer 1, now college names, now if I print college names and I print college enrollments and I run this, I see that the variable college names has been assigned to this one, and the variable college enrollments has been assigned to this one. Maybe I'll make them different things so that we can really illustrate that. And so as long as I return 2 things inside a tuple, or a list would also actually work, then I will successfully get these 2 variables back, which is kind of nice. But if I leave, oh, wow, I did not actually think that was going to work. Apparently I can actually even leave that off. So if you want your code to be really clean, you can even leave the list or tuple out and it will still work. So that is the code that you start with. Let's take a look at the assignment. So it says, the read file function needs to return a NumPy array that contains each college name. So let's return a NumPy array containing college names and a NumPy array containing, I believe it's college enrollments. So obviously I'm not doing that right now, but just to get my code running, this will work. So that's that bullet point. The main function should produce the desired bar graph using the information contained in the NumPy arrays that we return. And we need to write a program that matches this graph as closely as possible. So let's just take a look. Looks like we've got a title, we've got some labels, we've got labels on our X ticks, and these bars alternate colors. But you'll actually find even more information on the specifics of this chart in the grading. And there's a hint here because we're creating, in this lab, we need to create a bar chart, but in the videos and in the reading, we actually don't go through bar charts. So here you have a link to the bar chart documentation. And so you can see for yourself how to create this bar chart. And the last thing, little hint that I'm going to give here is that this college names NumPy array needs to have the type of string, right? And so you may need to look around in the NumPy documentation about how to create arrays of strings. So that is it for the introduction to this lab. Remember that these need to be NumPy arrays and that you need to create a bar chart. Good luck!